have a workshop. And first of all, Sadhu, how much time do I have?
25 minutes.
25, no. In the agenda, it is 30 minutes.
There is 5 minutes for snacks assist.
Right, okay. So, we are going to discuss about emotional intelligence. How many of you have heard about emotional intelligence? Can I see a show of hands? Only one person? Have you heard about emotional intelligence earlier?
Yep.
Okay, you have. Now, tell me what is
I
emotional
have only heard, not
heard.
meaning.
Okay, tell me what is emotion.
Crying, sadness, your feelings.
Feelings, exactly. So you know the basics, okay? Now, before getting into what is emotional intelligence, let me ask you a question. When you speak to someone, is the content of what you say or the tone in which you say it, which is more important? Is it the content or the tone? Both are important, but okay, still, okay. Content. You say, so you say content. How many say content? How many say tone? Okay, let's do an experiment. This is a pure experiment, okay? Do not take it personal. I'm not trying to hurt you anyway. This is just an experiment, okay? So, Rosama, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay? Could you stand up? Okay. Please sit down. Could you stand up? Rosama? Which way you liked?
The first one better.
First one was better. This is purely to do an experiment. Okay? So, in both the cases, I used the exact same content. There was no change in the content, but when the tone changed, it made a big difference, isn't it? Has anybody taught you about this in school? No. Nobody ever told you that the tone is more important than content, isn't it? Yes. It is not only about the tone. We all know what we are. In that case, is there an importance for the dress that we wear? Whether we wear an ordinary dress or something that looks professional, is there anything important about dressing professionally?
Yes.
No. Many of you will feel no. Because we all say, never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
In that case, what is the importance of dressing?
Dressing shows how professional and disciplined you are.
Confident.
You know, another thought experiment. Imagine you are walking on the street and you find a person appearing sick and falling down. Will you go and help him?
Of course.
You will, okay? Imagine that person was wearing very poor tone clothes. In that case, will you go and help him?
Yes.
You say yes. But this was actually tested. An actor, he dressed like a beggar, went to a junction and acted as if he is fainting. You know what happened?
No one cares.
Nobody cared. The people who didn't care, they were not extraordinary people. People like you and me. They didn't care. The same place he went the next day, dressed professionally very well, and acted fainting. You know what?
Many people.
So many people died. Why?
Dress up.
They judge the book by its cover.
No, okay, there is another reason behind it. It is called asymmetric information. We do not know what is the nature of that person. When a person is dressed so poorly and is falling down, if you go to help him, everyone will be afraid that maybe this guy, he's maybe a drunkard. And if you go and help, maybe that we will end up in trouble. On the other hand, this person, he is professionally dressed and he at least pays some attention to take care of himself. So, without ourselves knowing, we are drawing conclusions about the people around us. It is not something that we can help. Because without that kind of heuristics, life will become too complex for us to manage. Each and every situation, we will not be able to logically deduct into an equation and find out what is the best result. That is impossible. Because the situations in life are far too much more complex than any equation that we can reduce it to. So, we all have this tendency innate within us. Without ourselves knowing, we are passing judgments, we are making decisions, but none of the science or maths that we learn in school really describe what actually happens behind the rational mind. And that is called emotional intelligence. About the importance of it. See, in your school, imagine your teacher comes and asks you, students, what is the best gift you can give me? What will be your answer?
Ring, a pen,
Pen,
book, diary,
book,
good grades,
good what?
respect.
Respect. Okay, good grades. The teacher asked me the same question when I was in the 9th grade, and I gave the same answer, a book. And my friend said, pen. And the teacher said, none of that I want. What I want from you is get good marks. Okay? So, our generation used to study hard because all that was required from us was to score the maximum marks. That's what our parents told us. Study well, get good marks. Where teachers told, study well, get good marks. And many of us tried. Some of us got good marks. And after that we went to college. After that we joined in different companies or somebody started a business. And many, many years later, we all went back to a reunion. And your parents would have already done that. They also would have gone back to the reunions. Ask them, was it the person who scored the maximum mark who became the most successful in life?
No.
No. Then what kind of person became most successful?
The most.
Lowest marks.
The lowest mark.
Not the lowest mark.
Intelligent
I
person.
the best character.
Character.
The creative one.
Creative. Some parents are here. Let us.
The well-mannered.
What was your experience, if you have gone back to your schools? Yeah, who became most successful after some years after the school? What kind of person? Was it the person with the maximum mark?
I think it depends, sir, actually. It depends.
In your experience, who exactly and what was he or she like?
I think low-grade people
No.
achieve more success.
Okay. Okay, man, thanks. You know what? Usually, people who achieve extraordinary success in life, they are average people. Okay? It is average people who succeed, excel so well. Because what makes the difference is the attitude. But do you learn about attitude in school?
No.
No. What is behind all these things? That is a field called emotional intelligence. And this is a vast subject, and within the 30 minutes, I cannot cover it. But what I can do is I can just give you an introduction, and rest of it, already I have uploaded about 8 videos in YouTube, and don't watch them now. After this YLP, I will post them one by one in the group. At that time, go watch them. Because this thing, in a rigorous, structured manner, you are not going to be taught in the schools, and I am I haven't, not familiar, I haven't heard of anyone who is giving that kind of a training. So, after the YLP, go through those videos, and today what I'm going to do is, I'll just give you just an introduction as to how we have evolved and towards understanding this science of emotional intelligence. Okay? You know, our evolution started millions of years ago, and at that time we didn't have schools. We were cave dwellers, and after many years, maybe in the Europe and around 500 years, and India, Gurukul, many years, maybe thousands of years, we had schools and people used to study well, but how to find the innate capability of a person? It was not clear at that time. In 1824, something around in the late part of 19th century, that is 1870 or so, two famous anthropologists, they postulated that the size of the head is the best indicator of intelligence. Yeah, if the head is big, that person, they said that will be more intelligent. You all know that this cannot be, but just 1.5 centuries ago, the leading scientists in the field, they used to think like that. Okay? Then, Binet and Simon, they are in France. In the year 1904, the government of France asked them, how can we objectively find out if a person is really of low intelligence or lazy? So the government wanted to find out a way to clearly identify lazy students versus intellectually challenged students. Okay? And Binet and Simon at that time, they developed a kind of questionnaire, objective test kind of questionnaire, and that was the first development of IQ test, intelligence quotient. Have you all heard about IQ?
Yeah.
Yes. So IQ test was originally developed in the year 1904 by Binet and Simon. So that is where we, as the human race, started to come to understand our intellectual capacities in kind of objective way in 1904. During the First World War, US Army wanted to have a scientific way to identify who can be trained as an officer and who can be trained as a soldier. Until then, do you know what was the criteria to? In the Europe, it was based on family. The nobles, they were
Right.
officers, and the commoners, they were soldiers. In the US, nobility was not there because they were all migrants from Europe. So they wanted to find an objective way. And they asked Binet, they thought of utilizing the Binet-Simon test for identifying the people who would be capable of becoming officers. So Binet went to US, and the test originally was in French, and it was translated or changed into English, and that was called the Stanford-Binet test. And the Stanford-Binet test, it was administered to 1.7 million soldiers. And out of that, they sorted out the people who scored high marks as officers, and that was the first mass utilization of IQ test. And thereafter, IQ had a heyday for everything. Even now, for LKG exam, you would have done an UK kind of objective test. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Yes. So all the tests, like after a while, you will have CAT or SEET, so many entrances and recruitments in all the fields. Nowadays, these kind of tests are widely used based on what was developed by Binet and Simon in 1904. And it is supposed to identify people with better IQ. But does better IQ always predict someone to perform better in life? There was some other, but right now in your schools, what you will be trained on will be mostly on maths, logical test, IQ level. Our current education system is designed around the concept of IQ. But we find that people who score high in IQ do not necessarily end up well in life. So what is a good life? When we say that someone ends up well in life, we think that they have a good life, isn't it? But what is actually a good life?
They should be satisfied with themselves. They should be satisfied with what they are doing.
What they are doing. Okay. Is it, how can you say that? Let's imagine that they are so sick, tired, and no one is there around to help them. But they say they are satisfied with themselves. Is it a good life?
No. Maybe to them.
Maybe to them, but if you are in that position, imagine you don't have somebody can be like, and if they are starving and they are obviously in pain, and still if they say that okay, because we cannot judge what is going inside their mind. Obviously from the appearances we can judge that okay, they are leading a miserable life, and they say that okay, I am satisfied with myself. Are they deluding themselves? Or are they really, is it really a good life? Would you prefer to have that kind of a life? You will know.
No.
Then what kind of a life would you prefer to have?
Lavish life.
Lavish, okay, rich, okay, then
Comforting.
comfortable, right, rich, happy, good,
A life where everyone helps you.
everyone helps you, okay, like, so usually if you ask people, they will most likely say, I want to be rich and famous, like Ronaldo, or like Messi, or Madhuri Dixit, or whatever, rich and famous. If you end up rich and famous, will you be happy?
Yes.
Like being in a golden age.
When you really look there, many cases it appears that they are within their outside. In that case, what makes a good life?
Being happy.
Leading a simple life and having so many friends.
If you are happy and healthy. Okay, if you are happy and healthy, can we say that that's a good life?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, but then what is the secret of happy and healthy life? Do you know? What is the way to find the secret of a happy and healthy life?
Hard work.
No, that is one way, that is what we think. If we work hard, we will end up happy and healthy. But is it true? Are the hardworking people, are they happy and healthy? And what is the right age to judge whether a life is happy and healthy? Is it when they are young, or is it when they are in the middle age, or is it when they are middle age? Okay, let's imagine a person who is happy and healthy in the middle age, but in the old age, he is so sick, tired, helpless, no one around, so miserable. Is it a good life?
No.
No. In that case, what is the right age to judge whether that life?
No.
Old age, okay. If a person in the old age is happy and healthy, we can more or less certainly say that, okay, that was a good life. Because in the old age, even in the old age, she is happy and healthy. But what was the way they became? How did they live? What was the specific, special way? What was the secret? How can we find out? If you go and interview the happy and healthy old people, they will tell you many things that happened in their life. They will be relying on their memory. But there is an issue with memory. You know what? Memory can sometimes be outrightly creative. We might remember vividly something that really did not happen at all. Or we might remember something much different than how it actually happened. So we cannot rely on memory. So Harvard University, they launched a study in the year 1938, and what they did is they followed 760 some students in their teens. Okay, out of them, 268 were the students of Harvard University itself, and 468 were from the economically backward areas in the cities. So there was the whole spectrum. What they did is they followed these students. Every 2 years, they interviewed, collected meticulously exhaustive details about them. They checked their blood cholesterol level, their intelligence level, their income level, family's education, and so the way they were talking to their parents, and so much of data they collected every 2 years and kept meticulous record of it. And this study reached the 75th year, so you can count like in 2030 or somewhere. At that time, what they did is they checked what about these people in their 50s would best predict how they ended up in life in their 80s and 90s. So they had all the data, objective data, without any biases, captured at the time and kept in pristine records. And some of the participants, some of them, they ended up becoming teachers. When the study began, no one knew where they were going to end up in life. Some of them became bricklayers, some of them became lawyers, one of them became the president of the US and then got assassinated, John F. Kennedy. He was a participant of the study. And some others, they started as very rich and went the opposite way. When it was in the 70th year, they were living poor and sick. And they took all this data and did an analysis to find out what about these people from their 50s would be the best predictor of their health and happiness in their 80s and 90s. Can you guess what was the best predictor of a good life about people? Would it be the blood cholesterol level, or the hardworking nature, or the intelligence quotient, or income level, or family pressure? Attitude? Hardworking nature. So attitude means hardworking. Emotions? Emotions means what? I mean, everyone will have. Even if you are sick and tired, you will have emotions. You know what? Can you suggest? You know? It came out very starkly that it was the people who were in loving and caring relationships. They were living happy and healthy in their old age. That means they had close relations. They knew in their heart of heart that there are others whom I can depend on if there is a requirement. It was not their income, it was their intelligence. It was what? What was that?
Friends and
Loving people who had loving and caring relations, they ended up having a good life. One question. Does IQ predict your ability to create a loving and caring? No.
No.
Does anybody teach you how to develop loving and caring relations? No.
Power setting.
You can, okay. It is not like taught in schools, but if you are born into a good family, maybe you can learn it from your parents, but not every child would be growing up in that kind of a family. So if you want our next generation to grow to have a good life, what should we teach them? What?
Love and care.
How to develop loving and caring relations, okay? And there is a science behind it. How to do that, that's all part of this emotional intelligence. And we cannot go through all of it today. But I am just giving you how this emotional intelligence started as a field.
You want me to switch?
Yeah, that's one more. Yeah. Next challenge to IQ came from multiple intelligences. This was a theory proposed by Howard Gardner, and he said that IQ measures only one kind of intelligence. People are endowed with different kinds of intelligences. He said there are eight types of intelligence. One is logical, so who is example of a genius in logic? Albert Einstein.
That's Tesla.
Linguistic, who is a genius in linguistics? J.K. Rowling. Kinesthetic, who?
Sachin Tendulkar.
Sachin Tendulkar. Musical, Lata Mangeshkar. Interpersonal.
Gandhiji.
Interpersonal means the ability to interact with other people. And politicians are adapted, okay? And Albert Einstein may be very poor at it. Okay, next is intrapersonal. Who is that?
Ratan Tata.
Ratan Tata. Intrapersonal means knowing the strengths and weaknesses of oneself. In business, it's a dog-eat-dog world, cutthroat competition. There, if somebody has to succeed, that person has to have a very clear idea what is the strength, inherent strength as well as weaknesses. Without that, they cannot. Next one, visual. Is that it is Vincent Van Gogh, okay? Painter. Naturalist, Charles Darwin. So Howard Gardner said there are different types of intelligences, and people can be geniuses in different ways. And out of all these geniuses, except Albert Einstein, others wouldn't score very high in IQ. All others, they will have an average IQ level. How many of you think that Sachin Tendulkar is a genius? None of you? Yeah, all of you, okay. Can you play better cricket than Sachin Tendulkar? You
No.
cannot. So in cricket, is he a genius or not?
Yes.
He's a genius. But
You can.
all of us sitting here are or will be better than Sachin Tendulkar academically. Do you know why? Sachin has not passed his 10th grade. So when you pass your 10th grade, educationally you will be better than Sachin Tendulkar. But does it mean that we are all more geniuses than Sachin Tendulkar?
No.
No.
Not them.
Okay? So Howard Gardner said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. What he said is that if you judge Sachin Tendulkar by his ability to solve special theory of relativity or to sing a song, Tendulkar, what he might think?
He's a stupid.
Yes, and the other way around. If you ask Albert Einstein to play cricket, what will happen? So there are different types of intelligences, but IQ measures only one type of it. But in multiple intelligences also, even in the interpersonal and intrapersonal, they were thinking more about the rational thinking, and it was not developed into the field of emotions in multiple intelligences. That was later done by Peter Salve in the year 1990, and there he developed this emotional intelligence, and he said there are 5 components, and now it is reduced to 4 components of emotional intelligence. That is first about being self-aware, that is being aware about one's own emotions. And how to do that? It is there on YouTube, you can watch it later. There are some techniques to understand our own emotions. And second is how to manage our emotions. You would have heard about many people telling that I couldn't control anger. But an emotionally intelligent person has to be able to manage emotions. It should not be ruled by emotions. Third is how to motivate oneself. And fourth is empathy, how to understand another person's emotion. And next is handling relationship, that there we come about leading a happy and healthy life. So how to do that? There are various techniques for it. It is all there in YouTube. After this IMP, I will be posting those videos. Please go through them, because scientifically it is seen that almost like IQ or intelligence quotient, it will get you to the entry level. It will help you land up in a job. It will help you to raise funds, to get the initial funds to launch your startup. But thereafter, from the starting point, the people who progress far ahead of the rest, they are seen to be intelligent, they are seen to be more emotionally intelligent. So once you have got started in a field, it is not going to be your intelligence or IQ that is going to help you progress. Okay, to get into the entry, you need to have IQ. Thereafter, in your life as well as in profession, it is going to be emotional intelligence that will determine almost 80% of your success. Okay? This is the significance of emotional intelligence. And if you have, I have exceeded my time. I did it because I know that today we will wind up much earlier than 8:30. I know. That is the reason I am exceeding. If you have, I would like to answer. If you have questions, maximum 1 or 2. Any questions? No questions? Then back to you cleared of the day.